Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel. I'm back home from my vacation and ready to bring you guys episode 61 of my brand new Comics Haul series. This is a series where every week when I grab my new comics at the local comic shop, I show you guys everything I got and I tell you a little bit about every single issue. Here's the stack for this week. A pretty decent haul this week. I've got 6 issues in total, 5 from Marvel. Pretty much every Marvel release is pretty exciting, so I'm pretty hyped to get into these, as well as one from Dark Horse, which came out a couple weeks ago. I'll show that one at the end. Now that we've got this week's stack out of the bag, though, we've always got to get that bag out of the way. Okay, now that that's all over with, let's get right into the haul. We always started off with my most anticipated issue of the week. This week, that's going to go to X-Men Red #1 from Marvel Comics. This is an oversized first issue of this new ongoing series, and this is part of this new era of X-Men, which is called Destiny of X. This week, there was also a Marauders #1, X-Force continued its run, there's like an X-Force annual. There's a whole bunch of different X-Men titles which are restarting, continuing with their ongoing runs, and it's all in the aftermath of the 10 deaths and 10 Lives of Wolverine event. I didn't buy that, so I'm hoping that I'll understand everything. To give you guys a scoop on what this is actually about, though, it's called X-Men Red because it has to do with Mars. There was a previous X-Men Red series that happened a few years ago by Tom Taylor. That's completely unrelated to this, though, and Arakko is basically what Mars is called these days. It's like this different mutant faction that's a sister island to Krakoa until they terraformed Mars. Now they've moved there. Storm, who's featured on the cover there, is the regent of Mars. She's probably going to be the main character, or at least the leader of the team that's going to be featured in this book. Let me know if you guys are getting any of the Destiny of X titles down in the comment section below and what you're thinking of them. But that's X-Men Red #1, my most anticipated issue of the week. Alright, moving on this week from Marvel. Like I said, we've got some really big releases from them this week. I've got Devil's Reign issue number 6 of 6. So somehow this issue didn't actually make it on my pull list this week. I'm not sure why, but a person that works at Mission Comics, Luis, gave me his copy of the issue so that I could buy it and show it to you guys in this haul. Huge shout out to Luis. He works at Mission Comics, which is the shop I go to. It's in San Francisco, California. Make sure to stop by if you're ever in the area. And this is just the big conclusion to this whole Devil's Reign event we've had going on so far. The main event was only 6 issues, but we've gotten a whole bunch of different 3-issue miniseries. I haven't really heard anything about any of the tie-ins I haven't been getting. The only one I did get was Superior 4. This kind of seems like it could have just been a story arc of the Daredevil series, though. Maybe they could have had a couple tie-ins, but ultimately this is just a story central in New York City. It only has to do with Wilson Fisk being the villain. He's of course the mayor of New York City right now. Who knows if that'll still be true by the end of this, because he's been doing some really bad stuff throughout this Devil's Reign event. He's been brainwashing the population. He's been sending out all of these patrol guards, including his new team of Thunderbolts, who have been tasked with taking down every costume vigilante. I might try out the new Daredevil ongoing, depending on how all the characters end up where they are. What I'm thinking of it by the end of this issue. This is the last big finale to this like kind of big, but maybe not necessarily needing to have so many tie-ins Marvel event. Devil's Reign number 6 of 6. Alright, let's move on with Marvel Comics this week. I've got another issue here. This is Fantastic Four number 42, and this is I think part 4, it might be part 5 of the Reckoning War event. I was just talking about how Devil's Reign didn't really need to be as big as it was, right? Reckoning War needs to be bigger. It's this huge cosmic story with all of these ramifications. We've got like this deep Marvel history going back to the beginning of time, kind of retconning like the origin of the Watchers, and revealing that like 90% of the Marvel Universe has been shielded off this entire time throughout Marvel history. What I will say is that this is definitely a big change from how this comic was a few issues ago. It was like the most lighthearted, easygoing comic on the stands, and I was really liking what Dan Slott was doing with Marvel's first family, the Fantastic Four, for a long time. This is a big tonal shift, but I'm still really liking it. If you guys haven't been reading Fantastic Four, and especially if you haven't been reading Reckoning War, hop on it. This is a really great event so far, and there's no tie-ins pretty much, just that Trial of the Watcher one-shot that came out last week. To get started, you need to read Reckoning War Alpha number 1, so I definitely recommend reading this event. But that's Fantastic Four Reckoning War number 42. We've just got, I think, 2 or 3 issues left after this. Alright, I've just got a couple more issues from Marvel to show you guys this week. The next one here is Moon Knight issue number 10. This is another one of the best Marvel comics on the stands right now. Jed MacKay's run, along with artist Alessandro Cappuccio, has been top-notch every single issue. My favorite part of the series, besides like the artwork and the great writing, is just the way that they lay out these issues. Basically, every single issue so far, except for maybe a couple of like little 2-issue story arcs that they've done, has been self-contained. Just these little one-shot like self-contained stories within this ongoing series of Moon Knight doing these different missions. People come to him in the middle of the night to his midnight mission. The building for the midnight mission has been destroyed since, so he's like finding a new headquarters. He was able to last issue but then we've got these lurking threats in the background of the series all the time, and those little plot threads are progressed every issue as well. I talk about this a lot on my channel. I think that's how more Marvel Comics series should be going, because I'm honestly not that big a fan of like these huge long story arcs where not much happens every issue. That's Moon Knight number 10. Alright, let's move on to the final issue that I ended up picking up from Marvel Comics this week, and that was She-Hulk number 3. So I've heard more and more people saying they're not really liking this title, you know, not enough happens every issue, it's just too dialogue heavy, there's not even any action or anything. While that is true, I disagree with them, because this is just a really well written comic. The cover pretty much shows like everything that's happening in this comic right now, based at least on the first 2 issues. We've basically got Jennifer Walters. She's just quit the Avengers. She's not doing too well financially, so she's like crashed at one of the Wasp's apartments that she's not using, but she's got a new job as a lawyer again. She's trying to like get back to the old ways, how she used to be, but then Jack of Hearts, some old friend of hers who used to be on the Avengers, who I knew nothing about before the big recap they had last issue, he's suddenly been resurrected after being dead for many years, and he just crashes in her apartment, right, and then explains everything that's happened so far. Pretty decent artwork with really vibrant colors. I'm excited to see how this ongoing series progresses throughout these next few issues. That's She-Hulk number 3. Alright, thank you guys so much for sticking around all the way till the end of the video. I do have one more issue to show you guys this week. It's from Dark Horse Comics. This actually came out a few weeks ago, but I've had my eye on it for a while now, and I decided to just go ahead and pick it up this week. This is We Have Demons number 1. This is a pretty thick comic here. It costs $6, but it does have like I think probably 40 pages or so in it, and the reason I got this is because it's by Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo. Scott Snyder, the writer of Noctera, of Batman. I recently dropped Noctera. I wasn't liking it quite as much as I did at the beginning, but I was still enjoying that title, and I'm hoping that this one will be just as good as that one, if not better. One thing that's definitely on its side here is that it has artwork by Greg Capullo. I'm actually not that familiar with his artwork. I mean, I know he's really famous for his Batman run with Scott Snyder, for Spawn especially. I've read some of his early work on Spawn, but inside here, it looks like this is some sort of hell and heaven story, you know, similar to Spawn, speaking of that, and I really don't know what to expect here. This is a Comixology reprint, though. Comixology is, of course, like the digital platform. If you've already read this, let me know your thoughts on it down below, and whether I should keep getting this series after issue 1. That's We Have Demons number 1. Well, alright then, that's about it for this episode of my new comics haul. There's a lot to look forward this week between Reckoning War, Devil's Reign, X-Men Red, so many great Marvel titles, and I'm also pretty excited to see what We Have Demons has in store. Let me know what you guys got in the comment section down below. Which issue is your most anticipated this week, or if you already read them, which one was your favorite of the week? And if you enjoyed this video, if you liked it, make sure to click that subscribe button down below. At the moment of this recording, we're at 299 subscribers. We might already be at 300 by the time I post this, I'm not sure. You yourself can be my 300th subscriber if you subscribe right now. Thank you guys so much, everyone who's been subscribing lately. That's about it for me today. Thank you guys so much for watching. Bye, guys.